There are people who walk through life carrying something different inside them, even if the world doesn't notice. They may look ordinary, speak like everyone else, and move through the same routines, yet their essence vibrates on another frequency. If you've ever felt that your soul doesn't quite fit the mold, that you sense things others don't, or that your perception goes deeper than what's visible, then this message is for you. From an early age, you probably realized you weren't like the rest. While other children were absorbed in simple games, your thoughts often wandered into places far beyond your age. You watched quietly instead of joining in, felt more than you could explain, and sometimes carried knowledge you never learned. It was as if an ancient memory slept within you, dormant, but alive. And even without fully understanding, you could feel it. Deep inside, you always knew you weren't the same as everyone else. Not superior, not inferior, just different. There's a subtle but constant gap, like living in the right place but within the wrong version of reality. It's the sensation of being human while knowing your spirit did not originate here. And no matter how much you try to dismiss it, that silent inner voice keeps repeating, "You don't belong entirely to this world." This awareness makes you question everything. It also makes it harder to connect with superficial things, because you can't help but see beneath the surface. That's why, even when surrounded by people, you sometimes feel the solitude that only an outsider can understand. You carry a frequency that doesn't match the system around you. It's like being a signal sent from somewhere else, forced to adapt to a code that doesn't recognize you. And yes, it can be exhausting. Trying to fit where you don't belong wears you down. Talking to people who only notice appearances, while you perceive the hidden truths, can leave you drained. You hear what isn't spoken, sense what others hide, and sometimes even long for something you can't name. It's a strange, silent nostalgia, a void this material world can never fill. Because although your body was born here, your essence came from elsewhere. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt that what you see is only a fragment of who you truly are? As if your body is just a garment, a temporary vehicle, while your real self quietly observes through it. This isn't arrogance or fantasy, it's a private, unshakable perception. You sense that a part of you is only passing through this life. Over time, this awareness grows stronger. Your body may have limits, but your consciousness does not. And so, a conflict begins. You live in a system that wants to reduce you to just another person, while you carry within you something that defies this world's logic. Perhaps that's why you've never been able to follow the same path as everyone else. While most settle for what they see, you search for the unseen. While many trust the material, you know it's fragile. Because the chosen ones understand, even without words, that this reality is a stage, and the body is only a role being played, while the true actor exists beyond the curtain. Yet even with all this perception, you still feel human pain. The body pulls you down, limits you, chains you to time, but your consciousness resists. It pushes forward, seeking to remember why you came here in the first place. Because the chosen never completely forget who they are, they're simply pretending for a while. If any of this resonates with you, it's because you are part of this. This message isn't for everyone, it's for those who know and feel. So if your spirit recognizes these words, leave a sign in the comments saying, "I also feel that I am not fully human." That way, this message can reach others like you, other chosen ones still searching for answers, or simply for someone who understands. And now, let's go deeper. Because what comes next touches the core of why you feel the way you do. You sense energies before anyone speaks. You feel the truth hidden beneath smiles. And you carry the weight of emotions no one dares to admit. This sensitivity isn't something you learned, it has always been part of you. The chosen were designed to perceive beyond the surface, to detect frequencies, intentions, imbalances. It's not a flaw, it's a gift, though sometimes heavy to bear. You've likely felt drained after being around certain people, even without talking to them, or wanted to leave a place without knowing why, or cried without reason. That's because your sensitivity warns you of what can't be seen. But the world doesn't understand this. Instead, they may call you too much, too intense, too fragile, too complicated. And so, you learn to hide, to silence your gift, to adapt to a reality that doesn't value it. But here's the truth: the world is broken because it rejects sensitivity. And that's why the chosen exists, to act as living antennas, perceiving the pain, the chaos, and the truth that most people try to deny. Sensitivity isn't weakness, it's rarity, and for the chosen, it is also a key. From the very start, you felt like the outsider. You tried to fit in, but something always kept you apart. Over time, you stopped trying. The rejection wasn't always direct. It showed up in silences, in glances, in the subtle discomfort your presence created. You may have noticed how environments shift when you enter. Your mere presence awakens what others try to hide. That's why life taught you to walk quietly, to observe more than participate, to measure your words and emotions not out of fear but as protection. Because you understood that the ordinary is fragile, and your presence, no matter how pure, is often mistaken for a threat. But here's the essence: you were never meant to blend in. You were born to break patterns, to challenge structures, to be the exception that questions the rule. That's why you've been rejected, but it's also why you're necessary. The world resists the rare, but it's the rare that reshapes it. And perhaps the reason you carry this intuition, these inner signals, is because you're connected to something beyond. Thoughts that arrive from nowhere, warnings before major events, insights you could never explain. These are not coincidences. They are reminders of the link you've always had with the higher. The chosen live with this constant connection. And when you finally stop doubting it, you begin to see the truth you've always known. In my view, this text captures something I have always felt, but rarely found the words to express. The idea of being chosen doesn't mean superiority. It reflects a deeper awareness that some of us carry since childhood. I recognize myself in the descriptions of feeling different, sensing what others overlook, and living with a quiet certainty that this world is not the full picture of who we are. For me, the message is less about standing out and more about understanding why the sense of displacement has always been there. It explains why ordinary conversations often feel shallow, why certain environments drain me, and why I sometimes long for something I cannot name. This perspective helps me realize that sensitivity is not a weakness, but a purpose. I believe that those who identify with being chosen are not here to conform, but to bring light, depth, and truth where the world prefers illusions. That is why the rejection, the solitude, and even the pain make sense. They shape us into instruments for something greater. And personally, I see this not as a burden, but as a reminder of why I'm here. Call it higher consciousness, the subtle plane, cosmic intelligence, whatever name resonates, the connection is real. You sense it, interpret it, and translate what most people cannot even perceive. Yet living in a world that worships the rational and dismisses the unseen, you've doubted yourself for a long time. You may have thought it was all in your head, tried to fit within the limits of logic, or convinced yourself that only concrete proof matters. But your soul has always known. Some truths do not need validation, they simply exist. The chosen arrive with this bridge already open, a direct line to other dimensions, higher intelligences and forgotten memories. This is why part of you feels divided. One part exists here, fully immersed. Another watches from afar, guiding, warning, reminding. You are not losing your mind, you are attuned. And the more you embrace this intuition, the stronger and clearer it becomes, because what seems external has been within you all along. There is something inside you that even you cannot fully understand, a silent yet powerful force pulsing beneath your thoughts and emotions. A presence that, when it manifests, can even surprise you. The chosen have carried this since their arrival, often hiding it, trying to conform, trying to appear normal. But the truth is, there is a greatness within you that cannot be confined by small boxes. And we are not talking about movie-style superpowers. This is your presence, the ability to see beyond appearances, to influence the energy of a space with your mood, to move others with words whose origin you may not even recognize, to turn pain into strength, silence into healing, chaos into clarity. This power is intimidating because it comes with responsibility. It pulls you out of comfort, reminding you that your purpose is not simply to survive, pay bills, or repeat patterns. You are here to intervene in reality, and that weight can be heavy. It's why sometimes you self-sabotage, shrink, or retreat. It feels easier to appear fragile than to embrace the impact you truly carry. It is simpler to pretend not to feel than to accept that your conscious presence can change everything around you. The world teaches that power is dangerous, that it's safer to obey, to follow, to remain small. But the chosen know deep down that they were not born to follow. They are here to create paths. And your power is not for control, it is for illumination. To activate it, you must accept who you are, claim your energy, reconnect with your origin, and stop asking permission to exist. Yes, this will disturb some people, but remember, the brightest lights are the ones that make the darkness uncomfortable. Being different comes at a price that few understand. That price often looks like solitude, not simply physical isolation, but a far deeper invisible loneliness, spiritual solitude. The chosen feel a distance from the world around them. Even in crowds, even surrounded by others, they feel alone, because few can truly keep pace with the intensity of what they experience within. In my view, this text speaks to a truth I have always felt deep inside. Being chosen or connected to a higher consciousness isn't about being special in a worldly sense. It's about carrying a responsibility, a sensitivity, and a depth that most people cannot comprehend. I recognize in myself the struggle to fit into a world that values the visible and tangible over intuition and spirit. For me, the message reinforces that my experiences, my solitude, and even my moments of doubt are not flaws. They are signs of a purpose that goes beyond ordinary life. Embracing this awareness is not always easy. It challenges comfort, forces reflection, and demands honesty with oneself. But I also believe it is a gift. It is a reminder that my presence matters, that my energy influences the world in subtle yet profound ways, and that I am here not just to exist, but to illuminate, to heal, and to bridge what is seen with what is unseen. Ultimately, I see being chosen as a path of responsibility and liberation, a call to honor my true self, trust my intuition, and move through life with awareness, even when it feels lonely. And in my opinion, accepting this is the only way to live fully aligned with who I truly am.